Sorry, Mum, I'm probably going to swear a lot again in this. How cool that we do this little thing together.
I know,
Isn't that
Saturday
cute?
night.
Oh my God. Don't tell them it's a Saturday night. That's so embarrassing for us.
I know.
Kia ora and welcome to Wheelie Blind, the podcast where we talk about what it's like being part of a wheelchair choo-choo train.
I'm Nevé.
And I'm Sam.
And we're very excited to have you here. Today we're going to talk about what it's like travelling with a disability and a fat ass.
We have both travelled overseas several times separately, and I remembered the other day actually about one time that we did travel together. So I thought we could start with this as an anecdote, because why not start the Disability Travel Podcast by going over the one time that we have experienced ableism at an airport simultaneously. I also have a PSA mostly for myself, but for everyone else, which is that I will no longer be saying able-bodied for people that are non-disabled. I will be saying the latter. What's your issue with that? Because you said something to me that's been stuck in my brain, and then I now no longer feel fine saying it.
It's not that it really bothers me. It's more just that I like that non-disabled uses kind of the negative pretense on the majority group.
Yeah.
Which I think, why not? Like, we should call straight people non-queer.
Oh, I'm so for doing that.
Right?
I love that.
Like, straight is stupid. Non-queer.
Absolutely.
Like, you're not part of the cool group that I'm in.
Exactly. I also feel like it just gives disabled people more power. It just feels like it's equalising the playing field a little bit. So
100%. And rather than making it seem like disabled people are missing out on something, it's like, no, you're missing out on something.
yeah. And also, like, having a body that's fully functional is a sign of being a whole person.
100%.
And also the fact that not all disabilities are body related. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I just prefer it.
And you're so right for that.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, let's start with the opening anecdote. Are we ready? Let's relive.
Can I, before we get into it, you said that, like, we experienced ableism. Did we?
I'm not going to say we experienced ableism. I am going to
Or were
say...
we idiots?
No, I'm going to say it's an ableist issue, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's an ableist issue.
All right.
To be fair, it's a little bit of a reach. But I think I'll have you on board by the time I finish my reasoning.
Okay, because now I'm even wondering if I'm, like, misremembering things. So it'll be interesting I'll tell you my memory of it.
Yeah, I haven't even read what your part of the script
Oh,
is,
good.
so I'm pumped to see what you remember. All right, okay, so it was 2018. We were 20 and carefree and flew to see Fall Out Boy in concert with two of our friends. The concert was terrific. The boys were like shy teenagers and the crowd was obsessed. All four of us ended up accidentally buying matching hoodies, which I, for the record, wore to the gym last week, and it helped me make two new friends. It was really lovely.
Everyone clap for Sam.
We went to get on our flight home and we did not. Nevé, please tell us what happened.
Well, we got to the airport. We went and waited at what we thought was near our gate, but I think we were there quite early. So we kind of just sat near one of the, what are they called? Like the flight board with all the updates and everything. We thought, there's no way, like, missing our flight hadn't even crossed our mind, because we were like, if you don't get on the flight, they get on the loudspeaker and go, buh, you need to get on your flight, please, now, you stupid idiots. So we'd been through security and everything at this point. Like, we were ready to get home. And we were keeping an eye on the flight board, and it never changed to, like, boarding or anything. And it passed the time that our flight was meant to be.
God, we were stupid. Hearing you say it like that, I'm like, oh my God, we were stupid. Sorry, carry on. Jesus Christ.
It passed the time that our flight was meant to be, and we were like, whoa, this is weird. So then we went up to the counter to be like, hi, where's our plane? And they were like, hey cuties, it left like 20 minutes ago.
We made 3 calls for you.
Yeah. We were just sitting in a section of the airport that didn't have speakers, to my memory.
I'm hearing this and I'm like, no wonder they were like being so fucking rude to us.
Yeah, because then we were like, okay, well, when can you get us on another flight for free? And they were like, excuse me? And I can't remember if we ended up having to pay. I think we caused like enough of a like stressful time for them that they just got us on another flight. the next morning, but we were 20-year-olds. A lot of us were students, so we were poor and we couldn't afford a hotel room. So we jumped on the transfer bus to get over to the international terminal. We found a bar, we got drunk because we did have money to get drunk, not enough for a hotel room.
It's university priorities, obviously.
Yeah, so we got drunk and then we lay down on the floor.
And our matching Fall Out Boy hoodies.
One of us wrote an essay, the rest of us lay there very disappointed in ourselves, and we flew home the next morning. I don't remember anything after lying down on the floor. I don't remember getting up the next morning. I don't remember the flight. I don't even remember like getting home. I just remember like thinking, gosh, they should carpet this floor. And there was also construction going on, so we couldn't really...
The floor was rocking underneath our poor cold heads.
Loud as heck. And there's
never heard anything so loud in my life.
Yeah, so that was that. What did I get wrong there? Because in my head, it was entirely our fault.
Right, so there's a couple of details we need to add in here. The reason I think my memory is good with this, when it's usually terrible, is because I filmed the whole thing. Do you remember? Have I not sent you that video?
No.
Hi guys, welcome to my vlog. So we're at the airport. We're going on the adventure. It's not the airport, it's my bedroom.
Guys, can we cheers to missing our fucking flight? So, what do I have to add here? I don't actually think we were early getting to the gate. I think we were late. And all of the gates were super full and there were no seats available for us to sit down.
Right.
And me, after going to a concert the night before and dancing for a whole, however long we were there, was shattered. And there was nowhere for me to sit. Ableist issue number 1. Okay. So we were like, okay, Sam, you have to sit down. Like, we still got another half hour till boarding or something, or however long it was. So we sat at the gate, like, I'm pretty sure it was, I'm thinking of the airport now, and I'm certain I know exactly what gate it would have been, and I'm sure we were at a gate right beside it, where we could still basically see, I don't know, we were sitting close. Potentially ableist issue number 2 is the fact that you can't see the board.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't sit down. So that's why I think that was potentially... I mean, if the world catered to our needs, we'd have neither of those issues.
True.
That's my only point about it. But it never occurred to either of us at the time, really, that was what was happening. We were just like, oh, that was stupid.
Yeah.
The fact that there were no seats available, the speakers in that specific part of the airport weren't working, and the board glitched out and did not update for boarding or... last call, but it did update for departed, which is when we went, what the actual fuck? And then went in and we said to them, like, look, we had to sit there, like, my friend is injured, we couldn't, there was no room. They're like, it's not our fucking problem, like, you missed the call, get out of here. They were really rude to us, and I kind of get it, but I also think it was a bit unnecessary. But anyway,
Didn't need to be mean.
Didn't have to be mean, but, you know, we picked the cheapest airline, so whatever. You were a PT, so you spent that night moving all of your clients.
Yeah.
Our friend was doing, like, in the middle of one of his final exams, or like in the middle of a assessment, so he wrote his essay for 2 hours on the floor. I was hosting a party at a uni bar the next night, and I was like, I might not get home for that, and I'm like in charge of it, like, what do I do? So it was just a whole thing. And then we got drunk, and that was a bad idea because then we were hungover at 2 a.m. on the airport floor. It was freezing cold. There was
Really
construction cold. There was nowhere for us to sit, so we were in the middle of the floor, and I think we caught the first, like, terminal bus back at about 4:34, and then I don't really remember coming home, but I remember lying on my parents' floor with my dog, being like, that wasn't worth it. But
Fall Out Boy wasn't worth that.
No, it really was. I totally take that back. That was such a good concert.
It was so good.
I mean, the acoustics were terrible, and they're really not showmen.
No, but that's kind of what made it magical, because it was kind of just in a shed.
I don't know, there's the story, I suppose. I wrote here, the moral of the story is apply for special assistance, right? Because then we would surpass those issues.
Yes.
But then that's sort of, I thought, could be the segue here, is that special assistance absolutely does not solve all problems. So you lose either way.
Yeah, and special assistance definitely is the way to go. But yeah, then you're kind of at the whim of airport staff, which is sometimes a really, really bad thing. And it's forced me to really not enjoy a lot of my airport experiences because I just get sat in a corner while they go and chat to their mates.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great, but solves the access issues, I guess. So you kind of have to decide what you want to deal with.
Yeah. I would say solves some of the access issues. There's definitely still some that they fuck up with, for sure.
Indeed.
You're right about being at the whim. That's a good way of describing it, because that's really how it feels, which in some ways is really good. Like when I flew to the UK, I went through Houston and I was seconds away from missing my connecting flight. We had a delay leaving New Zealand. But because I had wheelchair assistance, it was the job of the person wheeling me to get me to that flight. And there's absolutely no way I could have done that on my own 2 feet. Like, I cannot move that fast. And I had to cover so much airport. I would have missed my flight. And then it was on her to get me there. And she did. She really tried her best.
Yeah.
That was a good thing, because I was like, well, I can't do anything about this. And it's out of my hands. But also it means, like, I really hate being wheeled. I really, really, really hate it. And that's what I have to be okay with, because they're always manual chairs. And that is just really not fun, especially being by myself. But I hate being at the mercy of anyone else. Should we talk a little bit about what it's like flying with a disability?
Yeah.
Do you think we need to give context as to what it means to book, what the difference is booking disabled? Because people won't know that process,
Yeah,
right?
no, true.
So when you book your tickets as normal, you just put on your ticket that you need special assistance, and you can select what kind of special assistance you need.
Yeah.
Obviously, Nev's, you do
Blind
or low vision. I do wheelchair, and then underneath wheelchair there's a bunch of different options. There's generally sort of 3 or 4, and they all have different codes that then get amended to your booking. So
same thing with blind,
Yeah.
because you can either be blind or blind with a guide dog.
okay,
So yeah, I'm just blind. No dog.
there's no degrees of vision
no,
that
no, it's blind. There's no like visual impairment.
Do you think there should be different degrees of that, or are you like whatever?
Yeah, but I don't think there's barely any awareness even in the disability sector of the ways that someone with low vision or a visual impairment needs different assistance to someone who's totally blind. So
True.
Air New Zealand's not going to know that.
So do you want to start off with the flying chat?
Oh, yeah. I got some good shit in here.
Yeah, I am fucking ready for this.
Right.
What the fuck?
So I'm going to talk about negatives first. I find that, as I said earlier, when you're at the whim of the airport staff, I feel like a helpless little baby at the airport. It really brings me back to being a child.
It feels very condescending, huh?
It's very condescending. Sometimes the staff are great and they treat you like a person. A lot of the times it's just awkward.
Can I say the times when they've treated me the best is internationally? In
1000%.
New Zealand airports, nah.
It's weird. It seems like overseas they have people who work at the airport whose job it is to support people with disabilities who are flying.
I've talked to some of them and that's their full-time gig.
Full-time gig. They have training in different disabilities. They've got way more awareness and they know actually how to help people. And that was my experience at Osaka Airport. I've never had human guiding so spot on as I did with this lovely woman. And yeah, it was just incredible. Like, so good. I couldn't believe it. I felt so safe and calm. I didn't feel talked down to. She didn't speak a lot of English either, but it was just flawless. She was perfect. I love her. Shout out to you, girl. Yeah, so I, especially in New Zealand, just always feel horrible. And it's made me hate the airport.
Oh, God, yeah.
Really, truly hate it.
Whenever I talk to someone that's like, oh, I love airports, I love flying, I'm like, right, so you are fully non-disabled then, aren't you?
100%. It's horrible. It's just stressful. It's never been relaxing. And I do find now that when I'm at the airport, I have a drink because that'll help. And most of the time it doesn't, but I feel for a moment like I'm getting a little treat before the stress. So my next point is, and this only happens sometimes, but if there's other disabled people on your flight, you are getting plopped down with them. There's no independence. You get to sit where you want to. It's, no, here are all the other disabled people. You're all friends, right? Go sit with them. And I hate that because I don't want to be forced to sit near someone when I could sit by myself. Get away from me.
Mm-hmm. I suppose they have to keep us together, don't they? I reckon that's the justification for that they need, because if there's invisible disabilities, like if I'm just needing assistance and no chair, they need me to sit. But even when I sit with the disabled, they still ignore me sometimes. So actually maybe that point's not as strong as I'd like.
I don't know. I get the thinking behind it. I just think there's other ways to sort it where we get to keep some of our dignity.
Imagine that.
Yeah, which would be really nice, because I think that's the biggest thing. I do feel like I just lose all of my dignity. And it's gross, and I think that's why I feel like...
By having to be told where you sit?
Yeah.
And having your independence taken away?
Yeah. And just, being talked down to a little bit a lot of the time. And I don't know, just everything about it is just icky. And I have sometimes just foregone going and getting the assistance that I've booked because I'm like, I'd rather just struggle through this.
Sometimes you pick the struggle, and the struggle is actually not to deal with the attitudes.
Yeah. The next thing is the difference between traveling alone when you've booked assistance and traveling with someone when you've booked assistance, because I get treated completely differently when I'm traveling alone versus when I'm traveling with people. And even when I've traveled with other blind people, I still get treated entirely differently.
What are those differences for you?
So when I'm by myself, I get essentially babied. When I'm with someone, I'm offered no support whatsoever.
I've found the opposite.
Really?
If I've travelled with someone, they talk down to me like I'm that person's pet or like they're my carer, and they'll sometimes talk to that person and not me about my needs.
Right. See, I haven't had that, which I'm very lucky to have not gotten that, because I expected to get that. But instead, it is just, no, you're with someone. They can help you. And it's just really interesting because I always get offered an elbow for human guiding when I'm by myself. Never get offered that when I'm traveling with someone else. And I think it is this assumption, and maybe it's to do with the type of disability I have, but it seems to be, oh, she's with someone, she has her person to help her.
The assumption aspect of this is what's crazy to me, and that is where every single ableist issue comes back to, is assumptions.
100%.
How fucking hard is it, especially if it's your job, to say, what assistance can we help you with today? What are your needs for this flight?
It's so easy. Just ask me.
These people, every single person I have encountered traveling with assistance needs official professional disability training in this sector. And if they're not getting it, literally just train them to ask, what needs do you have for this flight?
That training takes 2 seconds. It could be an email.
If anyone is afraid of like being ableist, just don't be a dick and ask constructive questions and you're fucking fine. It's pretty straightforward to
so
not
easy.
be a wanker.
So easy. And yet no one can figure it out.
And yet no one can do it. Oh gosh, I'm getting a wee bit heated over here. Woof.
So my next 2 anecdotes are fantastic. So I want to talk about one of the koru lounges in New Zealand, and I realise I sound like a wanker. So I was in one of the koru lounges, and I'm not rich, I swear. It's through work. And it's not even my koru membership. It's my lovely managers.
You were the guest.
Yes, I was the guest. We went in there. We'd just gotten the koru membership, so we were stoked. We were heading home. It was a Friday evening after we'd been up there for a big meeting, and we went in there. And as you walk in, there's a little section to the side with like shitty cafe tables with plastic chairs. It's not the nice couches and low tables, and it's all kind of sexy. It's this little crappy area that looks like that's where kids get sent. No. If you look on the tables, what you'll see is reserved next to the wheelchair symbol, they have a disabled section. Mm-hmm. And that's where you have to sit if you're disabled.
Did they not give you a choice to move around the rest of the lounge?
No.
Jesus.
No, that's where they get plopped.
When I went through there, I was told to sit near it. Or like I said, can I sit here, please? And they were like, okay, we'll inform the next person coming along.
Right. Well,
That is horrible that you didn't get that choice. That's crazy.
We were just entirely dumbfounded that, because usually both of us, we're very much the sort of people that will stick up for ourselves and advocate for ourselves and be like, excuse me, I want to sit on a couch. But we were just so both like, what the fuck?
For the record, if you've ever looked into koru memberships, it is very, very expensive.
It's so expensive.
It is not like an extra wee 100 or like an extra 200 or 300. It's astronomical.
But
so like, that's insane.
Yeah, I get what the thinking is of that. We're going to help you and offer you assistance the whole time you're in here. So it's easier if you're in one spot, I guess, and you're all together. The issue was with this particular time that we went in there, no one came over to help us. We had to get up and go and ask for help.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, the two blind people had to get up and go and try and find the Air New Zealand staff who are wearing, I'm sorry, the worst kind of uniform for visibility ever.
That is another conversation entirely.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Like, sorry, Jetstar nailed that one.
Oh, so true.
Yeah, it was just so terrible. And I've been in other lounges since when travelling for work, and we've brought it up with the staff at these other lounges because every time they ask us, where would you like to sit? And then that's where we sit. And we're like, so you don't have like a disabled people section? And they're like, I'm so sorry, what the actual fuck are you talking about?
That's insane.
And we're always just like, yeah, that's what one of them is like. And no one can believe it. Because it's so demoralizing.
And what are you even paying for? Just go normal. Just don't pay for koru. Why would you bother?
Yeah, like the couches just in the gates are more comfortable than the chairs there. Completely couldn't believe it. It was appalling. My last terrible anecdote is when I was traveling recently, I'd booked, it was a big old international flight, 2 stopovers. I was terrified about it. So obviously booked assistance, put that I was blind, did the normal thing that I usually do when I book a flight. When you say that you're blind, that's you booking assistance.
And don't you
the flights
nearly always have to click assistance and then specify under assistance what your condition is? Assistance comes first, right?
You surely do. And you'll understand in a moment while we're clarifying this. So we arrive at the airport, the first airport that we're leaving from in our hometown, and we went up to the special assistance desk where you're meant to go to check in.
That's how you start your special assistance travel journey.
Yep, you go to the special assistance desk so everyone knows you're special. And then I said to this woman, this is the flight we need to check in for. I had my cane out, just so everyone knows. Like, it's very obvious that I'm disabled. We get through this whole process. She's very grumpy with us because she's not actually special assistance. She's ticket sales. They just happened to be right next to each other and she was the only one behind the desk. But we're really putting her out because, you know, everyone's getting to the airport and trying to buy a ticket domestically. We're in the domestic airport. So I say to her, we get through the whole process. Oh, I just wanted to check. I should have assistance booked for the flight. And she said, no, there's no assistance on here. And I said, well, then something's gone wrong because I booked assistance on my flight. I need assistance. And she said, no, you've just put that you're blind. You haven't requested assistance.
Can I clarify? I read this in the script about 20 minutes ago and couldn't stop laughing. My silence now is shock and anger because the initial hilarity has passed.
And I just went silent because I didn't know what to say to this woman.
Is Jessie with you?
Yeah. And I can't even remember what happened immediately after. I think I just went so silent, and I think she ended up speaking after a few seconds and was like, so you need assistance? Which again, make me feel like a burden, lady.
One of 1,000 reasons why special assistance is extra stressful, because you very often get treated like shit, like spoken to like that by people that clearly not only have no training in disability for their job, but have absolutely no empathy or awareness of disability in any kind of context.
Beyond that, I will just say terrible customer service. Like, take the disability out of it. You're bad at your job, babe. Yeah, unbelievable.
Unbelievable!
So yeah, me putting that I'm blind is me. If I didn't want assistance, I wouldn't have told you. I'm not just telling you for fun.
Hi, I'm blind, but I don't need assistance. I can actually read my ticket. I can read every single arrivals board. I'll be awesome. Thanks so much, though.
I can really easily get over that sometimes really fucking big gap from the bridge to the plane. Oh, seat numbers too. See them super easily. They're really big. They actually, you press a little button and it says it out loud.
I hate the world. I didn't think this podcast would make me so pissed.
Yeah. That was my bad list. Would you like to go through your bad list?
Sure, I can't even remember what's on it. Let's have a wee look. I do often get spoken down to if I'm with someone, especially if it is someone older than me. They assume that I'm their child or they are my carer.
Because disabled people don't have partners or friends.
Disabled people aren't worthy of love.
No.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm still unlearning that about myself. When I was looking into going to the UK 3 years ago now, I thought it'd be a good idea to take my wheelchair with me because of all of the things we'd be doing when we were in the UK. And I spent quite a lot of time looking into it, calling various airlines, which calling an airline is always an adventure and you're on hold for about 8 hours. So that's always a good time. But I learned from the different airlines that I called and the research that I did, no airline can guarantee that your mobility aids won't be damaged in some way. They cannot guarantee they're going to get there. They have no knowledge of really how to handle them or treat them, how they're going to go in cargo. You have to give it up when you get to the airport and then put in a different wheelchair for the entirety of your journey. I have a manual chair, but I have a battery that I can hook onto it and then I can zoom. So it's both options, and obviously I'd want to take both. And I have to get all of these permissions and certificates to make sure it's okay to fly with. And it was so much, it was making it so much more stressful. And also then having a wheelchair traveling, making, I can go up 2 flights of stairs. Sorry, 2 flights of stairs. Can you imagine if I could go up 2 flights of stairs? That'd be lit. I mean, 2 stairs. My maximum's probably 3 at any one time. At least I can get over curbs or a couple of steps. Without, I really cannot do that with a wheelchair. And then it was like, you know what? No. So I don't travel with my chair because it's safer. The airlines would tell me if your wheelchair gets damaged, we're not responsible.
Which is crazy.
Then who the fuck is? What
it's
if
not
I was
your fault.
fully dependent on my wheelchair and you broke it and I get to my destination, it's broken and then I can't move.
But it's your problem.
But it's my problem. My biggest problem recently is when I transfer between international and domestic terminals here in New Zealand when I'm flying overseas. What they do is they will call if I'm going domestic through to international, they call their colleagues over at international and say, hey, this disabled bitch is coming along. Can you ready the wheelchair? We're going to put her on the terminal bus in the chair. Then she's going to be on. She'll be fine. Then when she gets off, make sure you're there to pick her up. I have had 3 individual separate trips where they have completely left me. So I get off the bus at the next terminal and there's nobody there. That might be 4 times actually.
Oh my God.
So that happened on my way to Rarotonga and my way back from Rarotonga when I went over in April.
Unbelievable.
And I was travelling by myself then. Yeah. And when I was coming back, I'm going to lodge a complaint. But for context, if you're wondering why we don't lodge complaints, it's because it's really emotionally taxing and nothing's ever done about it. So I've sat on this one and I still haven't done it because I just can't quite face up to it. But
it's hard.
It is hard. But when I was coming back, my flights were really close together because there was a delay. I was sitting at domestic, waiting for someone to pick me up. No one turned up. So I said, I'm going to miss my flight. So I went through because I was like, I actually know this airport. I know it's not that big. I have energy, luckily, today. So I'm going to walk myself through. And I did. And they were like, oh yeah, you're just in time. I was like, yeah. Imagine if I'd still been waiting.
Thanks, babe.
I would have missed my fucking flight because no one picked me up at the other side of the bus route. So that was really frustrating. And then my boarding pass didn't scan when I put it through to go on the flight, and they were like, oh, just stand aside and we'll sort it. And they looked it up and they were like, oh, you're Samantha, you're disabled. I was like, uh-huh. They said, oh, we were waiting for you. I said, well, no one came to pick me up, so let me on this fucking flight. It's 10 o'clock and I want to go home. So they did, but it was crazy. Just shit like that is just so normal.
Oh my God.
Going to Sydney, the flight had to dock. That's not the right thing. It's a ship. The flight had to go to a different gate because of congestion or something. And the new gate that I went to, there was no one to pick me up. So I was completely abandoned in Sydney Airport at 7 a.m. It's the busiest I've ever seen an airport.
I've heard Sydney's really bad.
It was horrible. And I asked about 2 or 3 people for assistance, and they either told me, we can't do anything, move on, or were rude to me, or said, like, get over it. And I had to keep asking people until someone agreed to help me. And then they said they'd help me and get help, and ran off and didn't come back. So then I took myself through customs. I put myself in the disabled line and took myself through. And luckily no one called me out, because usually they'd be like, what the fuck are you doing in this line? And I'd be like, I'm disabled, but no one helped me. I had a panic attack in the airport by myself in a side corridor, because I'm like, I cannot stand in that customs line. I'm going to be standing in that line for 5 hours. I cannot stand right now. Like, it was horrible. So
that is unfucking believable.
That was really bad.
That's actually reminded me of something too. You do have to wait for everyone else to get off the plane.
Yeah.
And then maybe wait another half an hour for the ground team to come and give you a hand.
The other things I have here are... Oh, a few times they've said, is it for you? I'm like,
no.
Well, it's on my booking. Here's my passport. What do you think? Which has a similar vibe as like, you're blind. Do you need assistance? What do you think? The last time when I flew through to Raro, I saw them talking behind the special assistance counter. And then 2 of them craned their necks around and looked at my legs to be like, oh, her? Yeah, I haven't forgot that. That was nuts.
She has legs?
She's human? That almost ruined my entire trip. And I was like, I'm choosing to ignore that, because that's made me want to punch a wall, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that was nuts. I've had some more positive experiences regarding being dumped in a corner though. Like, generally, sometimes they ask me, do you need to get food? Or like, if you need to use the loo or get a snack, go for that. Because usually I go super early anyway. So they do give me a little bit more freedom. They just say, like, make sure you're back here at this time.
Oh yeah, they never do that for me, because I think they're scared. Like, if she goes off and gets food, she's not making it back here because she's blind.
To give context to the choo-choo train intro, I've experienced in international airports, especially like really big ones, when you're hanging out with all the other disableds, for the record, that's a word we can say. Y'all can't say that.
Y'all can't say that.
They hook up your wheelchair to the wheelchair in front, like in the same way that you have supermarket trolleys that you kind of like, you got the trolley boys that like cross the Pack and Save car park. Find me in customs in Singapore Changi Airport in the middle of like a choo-choo train of about 6 wheelchairs just being zoomed around. And the best part is because these bitches can't fucking drive. So like they're going around corners. It's like turning a corner in a truck.
Oh my God.
So much like distance to us. And a few of us, I've almost lost a fucking shoe or a bag sometimes, because like you're being banged into corners.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. But that's that. God, I'm feeling really quite hivey after talking about all of this. I've got some positives here. You start us off with your positives.
Yeah. I have been known to receive extra free snacks from cabin crew, and once a pilot, because I got boarded first and then there was a really bad storm, so they had to halt the plane. One of the cabin crew came up to me and was like, do you want to just chill here? Like, we can take you back into the airport if you want, but you're more than welcome to just stay here. And I was like, I got my book, babe. I'm happy as. Like, let's do this. Then the pilot walks past and he was like, oh, are you still on here? I'm so sorry about the delay. I'll be right back. And he comes back and he gives me like just the biggest pile of snacks. And the thing is, none of the snacks were things that Air New Zealand has ever given out. I think he just gave me his lunch. And yeah, I've been given, one time it was my birthday the next day. So this lovely male cabin crew member just came over and gave me a giant Ziploc bag full of fudge.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so positives. You get free shit sometimes.
I've never experienced that, so you maybe got to be blind to get the free snacks.
Yeah. That's only for blind. And boarding early is great. I love being able to board
Agreed.
before everyone else. If you're put in the window seat.
I see your point.
Because you know what I love? Oh, you're in the way. Oh, can you move? Oh, I just need to get through there. No!
These 3 seats are mine now.
Clamber across me. I'm blind. I don't want to have to stand up. And I imagine for someone like yourself who is,
Crippled.
for someone who's a wheelchair user, having to stand up, not great. Sometimes entirely impossible.
Bitch, let me tell you. I don't stand up to let people through in a cinema, on a plane, in a theatre.
Yeah.
I have become very good at swiveling.
Yep.
Which makes the atrophying thin thighs quite helpful. Because I can swivel and then they push. That's all I do. Girl, you don't want to see me try to stand up because you'll be waiting there for another 5 minutes. So I'm swiveling and you can just rub your butt cheeks in my face. I don't care. This is all I can manage right now.
I've travelled with someone before who's a full-time wheelchair user, and every time I flew with him, they put him in an aisle seat, and seat select was never an option on these, short little domestic flights. And every time I watch people look at him and expect him to stand up, and he's like, what do you want from me? And he has to say to them, you're just going to have to get past me. And it just baffles me, people's inability to be like, let me just get past you. Like, we're sitting right next to each other. We can touch knees for a second.
It's also pretty easy to just shimmy your way through if you're standing in there sitting.
I'm sick. And it, slows down the traffic of people boarding if people are having to stand up. I just... I hate it. But I do like getting to board before other people because it means I have a little bit of extra time to settle.
Agreed.
Before we take off, because I don't love flying, so that helps a lot with just having a second to myself without a bunch of people around me.
Fair.
Because I think that's what I hate about flying is other people.
Sometimes I quite like sitting with the other wheelchair users. I often make friends. When I flew to Raro, I was just talking to this elderly lady who's grown up in Raro and was going home, and she didn't have perfect English, but we talked. She was like, what are you going for? Where are you staying on the island? We talked for quite a while, and she shared with me some of her wisdom about places to go, places to not go, some travel tips. She told me about her connection to her hometown and what she loved about it. She was just really sweet. She wore I forget what they're called, but the beautiful flower crowns. She was wearing one the whole way home. Aww. And she was just so cute. And we hung out with each other the whole way. And she was so nice. And that was really sweet.
That's
Sometimes
so
you talk to
lovely.
just random old people and they're really nice. So that was really lovely. Oh, I love skipping that motherfucking customs line.
Yeah, girl.
Oh, I'm you guys can wait for another 2 hours.
Fuck all y'all.
Get me through with my passport, bitch. Oh, that is so good.
Yeah, 100%.
It really, really does make a difference when you get to save time and energy, those customs lines, knowing that the airline is responsible for you getting through safely, even if they do it badly. I found it liberating when I chose to fly with assistance because for a long time I didn't.
Same.
And it's the lesser of two evils. And it makes such a difference to, especially because sometimes getting off your plane and then getting to customs is like a 20-minute walk. Your girl can't do that if sitting down for 12 hours because my muscles are struggling as it is. Not using them for that long. I also find flying itself very painful. Something about the pressure and being stuck in one spot, I get quite a significant amount of pain when I fly too.
Yeah.
So anything that people can do to make that easier, we deserve that because it's very, very hard existing.
Yeah.
So
you're right though, it does feel like a cheat code at the airport. It feels like a treat, and it's not.
Every time I
absolutely need it.
We need it. We actually need it. And every time I tell myself that, I kind of I used to have a guilty face.
Oh, same.
And now I'm you know what? No, because I'm in a shitload of pain and I can't walk this far, and Thank you for helping me.
And I can't see when the customs lady is saying, go over there. I don't know where there is. So just walk me through, thank you.
Kia ora, this is Editing Sam here, hence the dramatic change in audio quality. We are about to dive into a discussion about Sabrina Carpenter with no prelude or reasoning whatsoever. It does not relate to the topic of this podcast at all, but we thought we'd keep it in for your listening pleasure. Enjoy.
I have thoughts on the new album cover and I like it because I think she's being ironic.
I think she's being ironic too.
Mm-hmm. I see why it's controversial, but I like that it's controversial because I think it's bringing up some really important discussions.
It's brought up for me as well, like, I'm sorry, are women not allowed to have a kink?
Yeah.
Like, so what if it's not satirical? I think it is.
I think it is, but what if it's not? Then let her do whatever the fuck she wants.
Yeah,
if it was a man, no one would be questioning
But
it.
she's not pandering to the male gaze because her audience isn't straight men.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right. I mean, it's literally everyone. But, like, it's Sabrina Carpenter. But she's not allowed to like being treated like a dog when she's having sex. Like, she's a human being. She's allowed to have a kink.
She can like what she wants.
Yeah. Also, I don't think she does. Like, she's giving vanilla. But
I mean, if that's what she finds like, if she finds promoting that part of herself liberating and it's unironic, then that's feminist in itself. The fact that she feels the freedom to express that.
yeah, I just don't think she's trying to develop a straight male audience.
No. I guess the issue would be the normalization of potential abuse and power play. But, like, again, that's not her audience.
And again, it's not that men treating a woman like a dog, that's not innately abuse. If she's consenting, which she is.
Very true.
Because this is her project. It's pissing me off.
Yeah.
Like, the whole internet's losing their fucking minds. But everyone loved the Juno poses.
Yeah, so true. Why is that different?
It's not!
Yeah.
Everyone's just afraid of a woman expressing a kink.
Tune in next time for our
So sorry.
Sabrina Carpenter political rant. That's warmed me up. Feel ready. Not in a sexual
She's
way.
thinking about kinks.
So our last little section here is us. I thought we could talk about the places we've been internationally and what we found. In Aotearoa, we get quite a limited idea of how Western society, all of society, treats people with disabilities in New Zealand because we're such a minority and we're also so used to it. I've been to the UK quite a lot. I'm Welsh and I have family over there, so I've been there twice in the last 2 years, and I went a couple of times in my life before that as well. The first time I went, I was with others, and the second time I went, I was alone. It was a very complicated time for me. The time I went in 2022 was to inter my father's ashes, so it wasn't, it wasn't sunshine and rainbows. It was a time. So I definitely preferred the second time, both I think because I was traveling alone, and also because it was me making peace with a lot of that rather than literally carrying around a box of human ashes everywhere. They had swabbed that when we were going through customs just to check that we weren't like smuggling cocaine. One of my friends works in border security, but she's really lovely, and every time I travel internationally, she's working border security. And she asked me that time, like, oh, what are you guys doing? Like, oh, what are you going overseas for? As she's swabbing my dead father. And I'm like, oh, just to see family, babe. Like, it's fine.
Let's not get into
Let's not get into it. It's okay.
We're not close enough for this.
No. I saw her on the way to Raro and I said, oh, it's such a relief seeing a familiar face. I get so nervous when I travel. And she was like, you say that every time. I'm like, God, has it been like 3 or 4 times now that that's happened? So London was an absolute shit show. I have a real bugbear with London right now, but we don't need to get into that. I was really excited to go. Obviously, the history is incredible. The literary connections are incredible. It's a fucking amazing city. Globe Theatre, the Shakespeare, so much of it was really, really amazing, and I loved being there. It seemed like it would be okay. It's a big, very busy city. So the more people, the more disabled people, the more accessibility. Generally, as a rule. Logic. So things like the tube, which is obviously the easiest way to get around. It's an ancient system and it's freaking great from most of my experience, but still a challenge with a condition.
Yeah.
I did all the research beforehand because I'm me. Also, I think being disabled contributes hugely to my anxiety and my need to know everything beforehand. So that I did a lot of that before we went over there. And the tube map has quite clearly marked what stations are like wheelchair accessible and what that accessibility is like if it says how many steps to get onto the platform or that kind of thing. So that came off as being really helpful, which it was, because then when we booked accommodation we could check we were near an accessible station, but there's not loads of them. So yes, this station and this station is accessible, but there's still, however much walking that you have to do, or the lift is still a hike away, or it means that the places you want to go, the tube station is still quite far away from where you want to go because there's not enough of them. If you were just tubing like normal and could take the steps up, that's fine. But if you need a station that's accessible, there's so much less of them that it's so much harder to get around. I still dealt with a lot of fatigue because I didn't take my chair because exhibit fucking A. But yeah, it ended up being really difficult, and I was very, very stressed and unhappy for most of my time in London. To be fair, it was Christmas and it was freezing.
Right.
So what are we doing in 3 degrees when there's so many people? I almost passed out at Harrods. It was great.
Interesting take.
It's an experience, right? I loved being at Harrods, but then we'd been in London all day and we were quite a way away from a tube station and traffic is nuts. So getting an Uber was the best thing we can do, but then we sit in traffic for half an hour, but at least I'm sitting. So that's what we had to do in the end.
Yeah.
But I got very okay, there's so many people. And in New Zealand, there's not that many people. So we're not used to crowds in the same way that we are when we go over there.
Definitely.
Too many people. I was freezing cold, but also hot because my body was overcompensating for trying to keep me going. And I knew we were ages away from a tube station to get back to our accommodation, and there was literally nowhere to sit down anywhere. Every single cafe, every single shop, every single bench, everything was full of people. And I was like, okay, I'm going. So my partner at the time and my mum had one shoulder each. Consciousness gone, consciousness back. Put me down somewhere. So it ended up being very stressful and ended up feeling very inaccessible. And I remember feeling a relief when we got the rental car and we drove out of London. We went to Stratford and it was snowing through the trees and it was just, you could breathe. There was basically no one around. It was so nice. So then rental car is the way to go, and that's what I've done every time I've travelled since then to the UK and to Raro, because I can go at my own pace. So I loved being in the rural parts of the UK. The issue with that is obviously because the buildings are older, there's a lot of inaccessible spaces. Townhouses, 2-story houses are a big thing. Nearly all of my family have 2-story houses, unless they're in actual Carnarvon, small town Wales, where they just have teeny tiny little dwellings in the mountain. That was that experience.
Yeah.
London, stressful, smaller towns, lush.
Better. Hell yeah.
The other notes I have here are Singapore, Raro, and then Oz. Let's segue to you, because I know you have Australia as well. I hadn't been to a tropical island since I was 7 with my parents, and I have friends in Raro. Hello, baby.
Hello, dear.
Hello. And that was really, really lovely. And it made me think about how traveling with a disability, 2 things, always going to be more expensive because you need to pay more to make your trip easier or less painful or even accessible. So different accommodation, different seats on the plane, whatever else ends up being more expensive.
Yeah.
But also how much easier it is and how dependent you are on word of mouth and people that understand your condition. That's one of the reasons going to Rarotonga was a little stressful, but for the most part actually great, because Sam knows my condition so well and she's lived there for 2.5 years. So she knew how we could do everything in a way that I could do. Whereas usually you're reliant on businesses, awkward phone calls, awkward emails where no one understands what you're asking when you're trying to ask about if you can do this thing. And I was just so grateful to have someone know me and where I was, and then we could kind of go at our own pace. Yeah. And she said to me at one point, I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but it's actually been so nice having you here and being forced to be really restful. We do things in the morning and I'd be like, can I tap out for a few hours for a nap, and then we'll do stuff in the evening. And that's kind of the way we made it work.
Yeah.
And that was great. And she's like, honestly, I appreciated that too. It was nice to just not rush through everything and do a billion things at once. So that's kind of a perk as well, because it forces other people to take a step back and chill.
Yeah.
My note for Singapore is tip OMFG.
And I've been trying to figure this out for the whole week.
Let me tell you. So that was internationally the worst treatment I've had other than Sydney airport. The lady wheeling me through the airport was just crazy rude. Crazy rude.
Really?
Just was very, I'm going to say barky. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Very like just sharp and rude, quite like forceful with the way that she was wheeling me through. Like it kind of felt like I was off-roading a little bit.
Right.
It just had a very secondhand, rude. She didn't ever make eye contact with me. She didn't ever ask me my needs or question. Like it was just, her manner was really horrible. And at the end, she kept saying the word tip to me, but it was in an accent and I couldn't understand quite what the word was or what she was asking. And I was like, sorry? And she kept saying the word and I'm like, don't know, sorry, I don't understand. And she got really angry with me and she stormed off and left me in the chair. I never saw her again. And it wasn't until later that my partner at the time was like, she was asking for a tip. And I was like, get me the fuck out of this airport. It was
unbelievable.
It was nuts.
See, I assume you had tipped over at some point, which was what tip meant.
I did that at the Hosier concert. That's an entirely different conversation.
Oh my god!
Hence why I went through Houston the next time I went to the UK, because I was like, don't you dare fucking put me in Changi Airport ever again.
Yep. That is so appalling.
I don't think that's... I was like, is it a cultural thing with the... like the sort of her manner? Is that kind of a normal way that people speak there? Everyone else I encountered in Singapore, in the place, in the airport, on all my flights, everyone was extra nice. So I really think that was a one-off, but it scarred me so severely that I didn't ever want to get on a plane again. That's kind of, those are my standout experiences traveling overseas. Australia is a bit of a mission, but not too bad. The biggest thing when I've been there is just trying to find accommodation that's accessible. What about you? Like in Australia, for example, what are your experiences there?
I've been to Australia a couple of times. The only time I've been as an adult, I don't really remember the journey there or back at all. Other than, actually, this is just going back to me just being at the airport when they just brought out that new system of a human doesn't check your passport, a camera does. And those are so fucking inaccessible for me because I can't see where to look. I can't see where to stand. I can't see what to do with my passport. I don't know if I'm putting it the right way up. Everything about it is horrible. I hate it. And there's not even an opportunity anymore to go to a counter. You have to do that. And I hate it. And overseas, they have a different system where it tells you exactly what to do. And it has that voice recording repeating over and over again of what to do. None of that in New Zealand at all. It's terrible. They got updated in 2016 or whatever, and they've stayed the exact same, and they've made no improvements and made no effort to make them accessible at all for a visually impaired person. Gripe over. So I remember that, and that was really, really stressful. And I remember getting yelled at by, first off, the person that I was traveling with and airport staff because I was doing it wrong. So that was fun. Being over there, I traveled to Noosa. It's very like beachy, laid back town. Boomers love it. We were staying at a resort kind of quite far away from the beach. It was probably... we always had to get a taxi to get to the beach, and we'd be in the taxi for maybe like 7-8 minutes. So a walk would be silly. Like it was the height of summer. It would have been too hot. I definitely wouldn't have been able to get around anywhere by myself because I don't think I remember seeing a single traffic light. It's kind of almost the same vibe as Hamner, where it's take your life in your hands to get across the road.
Try your best.
Yeah. So I couldn't do anything independently. That's basically all I remember from that trip is I was very dependent on the person that I was traveling with. I was a lot younger. This was in 2018, so I didn't have the confidence I have now to self-advocate.
2018, the year of missing flights and no traffic lights.
Yeah, that was that same year. I don't know. It was fine, I guess. Just the place I went was not set up in any sort of accessible way. Yeah, I had to be very dependent on the person I was traveling with, which I don't like depending on people at all. It's interesting hearing you talk about like the fact that you have to factor in accommodation going to be accessible, because for me that's not as much of a problem, but when I've booked a trip since, but just making sure that it's in a good area is the main thing for me, so that I can actually walk to stuff and I'm not super reliant on having to get a cab or something like that, because again, that just makes it way too expensive. So we have very different considerations when it comes to accommodation, but you still do have to think about it, and it ends up benefiting whoever I'm traveling with, because then we're like in a good spot, which is nice. But yeah, that's not something I have to think about as much, which is interesting. Yeah, the next one I want to talk about, and this was when I was a kid, but it feels cool to talk about because I got to do it because I'm disabled. I went with Koru Care over to America when I was 11, I think. And that was really, really sick. Obviously, I was a kid traveling with 24 other disabled or chronically ill or post-cancer kids. So, and we had adults supervising us the entire time. Again, wasn't doing anything independently because I was in America as an 11-year-old, so they're not letting you do anything. But that was just a really cool experience to actually go and feel like I have some freedom, and like, yeah, I got to do this cool thing that most people don't get to do. And it's because I'm disabled. So it was a really cool experience. Like, I can't fault that trip at all. It was
so cool.
Sick as hell. Yeah, and I do remember we went to Disneyland quite a bit, and they loved our little disabled asses with our disabled passes. And, you know, we've got a group of 4 of us kids and then 2 adults, and when you put down that you're disabled, they just give you a wheelchair. None of us really needed a wheelchair, but we'd take turns in the wheelchair. The last place I want to talk about is Japan. I'm going to get right up on the mic for this. The best place in the entire world. If you're blind. I will say, before I get into raving about how incredible Japan is, not wheelchair accessible in the slightest.
This is not about me. It's okay.
It's not about you, but I thought about that many, many times because I'm like, man, this is blind friendly. It is so aggressively not wheelchair friendly. It's just crazy that a place can be so perfect for one group of disabled people and then so terribly bad for another group. They have nailed visual impairment accessibility to such an insane degree. Everything else about it was just perfect as well. Like, I can't fault it at all. I loved it so much. We'll be going back. But the getting there and walking down a street in Osaka for the first time and looking down and seeing in the middle of the footpath, even in this little back section of Dotonbori where we were staying that was quiet as old school buildings, like it's clearly hasn't been updated in years, like decades. There are tactile lines running the entire length of the footpath, unbroken the whole way down. Bright yellow, fully like the tactile lines you see in New Zealand, because they're all standardized, thank God, throughout the entire city, everywhere. In every city we went to, there are tactile lines along the entire footpath. And it's incredible, and it was so good, and I ended up needing to not use them because walking on them started really flaring up my injured foot. So the level of awareness there as well, I think it's down to the fact that there are tactile lines everywhere. Everyone knows what they're for, and therefore everyone is so much more aware of what a blind person using a cane looks like. And that's why I think I would see people 10 meters away from me fly up into the air to make sure that they weren't in my way.
Talking about the guy that like fell into the door.
Yeah, fully. We're walking along a street in Asakusa. No, not Asakusa. What was it? Akihabara in Tokyo. Down this quiet little back street in this very busy area of Tokyo. And this guy comes out of a shop, sees me, again, a meter away. He would have had time. And he just flings himself back into the building, like almost fell down to make sure that he didn't get in my way.
Oh, what a king.
It was just unbelievable. Like, everyone just knew what it was, what it meant, how to act.
It makes you realise how far behind we are in Aotearoa. Huh?
Yeah.
Like, it's so bad.
And it was interesting hearing you talk about the crowds. Like, in New Zealand, we're not used to those big crowds. Even here, where every person has at least like 10 meters squared of space to just run around and do whatever they want because there aren't big crowds, people will not move out of the way for me with my cane. We would walk through Shibuya crossing.
Oh my God.
And there would be a clear path ahead of me.
How do we bring that attitude here?
I don't know, but I must do it. I will make it my life's mission to make that energy happen here. It was unbelievable. And the only people that wouldn't move out of the way for me were other tourists. So it's clearly not just an international thing. It is a Japan thing because Japan is elite. The other thing to note with that is so here in New Zealand, I have a lot of people stare at me and ask me, what's that? Or I'll have a lot of children pointing and saying, what's that? Which is totally fine. Kids are curious and they should be asking those questions.
Absolutely.
The issue is then their parents being like, don't point, it's nothing, don't worry about it. You can just say, oh, that's her cane. She's low vision. You don't need to be scared of me. So I didn't get stared at once while we were over there. No one cared about me. They just got out of my way and then got on with their business, which was so lovely. I felt so free.
Did you feel kind of invisible?
Yeah.
I love when I'm clearly disabled and feel invisible.
It's so nice because it doesn't happen here ever. It's so, so nice. And the only person who ever came over and said something about it and didn't say it to me, said it to Jessie. He said, what's the pole for? Which is its own issue. And Jessie said, it's her cane, she's visually impaired. He was a Kiwi. The one person who said something about it the entire time.
Was a fucking Kiwi.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing for us.
Mortifying. Unbelievable. I've said that a lot this podcast. It is all unbelievable though. The other thing I didn't realise until we got back, I did research when we got back for work. That happens to be, and this is why there are tactile lines everywhere, I presume. They were invented by a Japanese guy in Japan.
Oh, we love that for him.
Yeah. And over there they're called tenji blocks, and tenji is the Japanese word for braille, and that's why they look like that, because they're meant to look like braille. And I just thought that was so cool.
That's super cool.
And I loved it. The other thing I didn't write this down, but I just thought of, we drank a lot of alcohol while we were over there.
Can confirm I received many drunk videos.
And you can buy different types of alcohol, but they had a huge selection of beer, and we love beer, just at Family Mart or 7-Eleven. We got beers for the first time and we're drinking them, and we both looked down and we were like, that's braille on the top of the can.
That is sick.
It says it in Japanese, and then I looked up, I tried to figure out what it said in kanji. I barely know braille. I certainly don't know Japanese braille. But it says, I looked it up, what does this say? It says beer in kanji and braille on the top of beer cans. It's sick. And when we go to Costco or Japan Mart to get cute little Japanese beers now, you can tell that they've been directly imported from Japan because they have the braille on them.
Can you get that here?
Yeah.
Well, can we drink one?
Yeah. I'll get us all one for my birthday next week.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
It's awesome. It just, they think about us so much. It's a first thought. It's just so, so cool. The other thing that was really great was, obviously they have audio announcements every time we're coming up to a stop when you're on the train. And no one talks on the train, so you can actually hear them. I found while I was over there, I gained so much confidence. I was really nervous because this was my first time traveling after becoming someone who uses her cane every day. And I was worried, obviously we were going to be taking a lot of photos. I was like, ugh, my cane's going to be in all the photos because I'm not going to fold it up every time we want to take a photo. I thought that would bother me. I love it. I love that I get to look back, and in most of the photos of me, I've got my cane. It's just so cool. It is just a part of me now, and I'm so confident with it, and I feel so weird when I don't have it.
I'm so proud of you.
It's just, it's so good. I love it so much. And I even just gained so much confidence with what I can do because I had my cane with me the whole time. I could do tricky little nature walks and I could be a bit braver, and it has made me braver, and it's just so cool. And I just, it's all thanks to Japan. Thank you, Japan. You've changed my life.
Thank you, Japan. Shout out to Japan.
The last story I want to finish up with for how incredible Japan is with visually impaired people.
Get ready, everyone.
So I'm going to close my laptop for this
Oh, let's get in the serious.
Alrighty, so Sam heard this story as soon as we got back to the hotel because I had to tell someone to know that it was real. We were in Kyoto. We were staying in the old quarter, and we knew that the old quarter is where all the geisha still be doing geisha things. You're not allowed to take photos in that entire area because tourists were being dicks and getting up in geishas' faces and taking photos of them, and that is just so not allowed. So you're not allowed to take any photos of where we were staying. It was our first night there. Whoa, it was our first night there, and we'd tried really hard to find a restaurant, and so many tourists there, so everywhere was just packed with tourists, and we really just wanted to find like a good authentic Japanese place to go for dinner. And we ended up just wandering around these streets, very dimly lit streets, ended up finding this wonderful fine dining Japanese restaurant. It was incredible. Like, had the nicest meal ever. It was so expensive, but it was so worth it. The chef walked us out afterwards and just kept saying arigato gozaimashita. Like, it was just the best experience ever. So we're glowing from that. We'd had a highball. We're feeling great. We're walking along this ancient street, basically no lighting. I've got my cane, and we're walking, and I see someone coming towards us. And it's obviously dimly lit, so I couldn't see who it was or what they looked like, but I could see it was a person alone. And I felt Jesse grab my arm to pull me out of the way. But before he could do that, this person stopped, turned, and moved around us. And I was like, I didn't really think anything of it because I was like, yeah, it's Japan. Literally everyone does that, and they're incredible for it. This person gets past us, and Jesse stops, and I'm like, what's going on? And he turns to me and goes, that was a geisha. I'm gonna cry.
I got chills.
I feel like I need to preface this just so everyone knows. Geisha will walk through packed streets full of tourists. They walk incredibly slow. They don't acknowledge anyone else's existence. They will not move around people. If there are people in front of them, they will stop and wait for them to move out of the way. They stick to their path. And this geisha looked down. I found out this afterwards, as Jessie told me. She stopped, looked down at my cane, looked back up at me, turned, moved around. They don't do that. They don't change their path of travel for anyone. They will stop and wait for you to move around them. And this beautiful, beautiful soul of a woman saw me walking with my cane and moved around me, and it was the most insane thing. We turned around to look at her and she was gone, so we were a little bit drunk and convinced that she was a ghost.
I'm crying and that broke it. Thank you. Oh my god.
And I'm so glad you had such a big reaction to it when I told you, because I've told people since and they're like, oh wow, that's cool.
They don't understand the power that an action like that holds from someone like that, in that position, to be prioritized by someone who prioritizes no one.
Yeah.
Is unbelievable. She made you feel special, bitch.
Yeah, it was the most uplifting, moving, incredible thing that I think I've ever experienced. I felt like I left my body, but not in a panic attack way.
Isn't that nice? They're like 2 times in our lives that we leave our body for good reasons.
Yeah. It was just, I couldn't believe it.
I'm so happy
it was
that you
insane.
had that experience.
And I will never forget it. Mm-mm. And it was just so beautiful. And I have no words. It was just it was insane that happened. So thank you if you're listening. Oh, yeah. So Japan was wonderful. That was just one of the reasons why it was so wonderful. But that, for me, just changed my perception entirely. And it made me really angry at New Zealanders.
Yeah, that's
because
what I'm thinking here
you
too.
can move out of the way.
I hate that I like it here.
Oh, I don't like it here.
I may get there.
I like you. That's about it.
I like you too, babe.
Oh, good.
I don't think I'm going to be here. I don't know. I don't think this is my gig forever now.
No.
It's my gig for now, but I can definitely see myself wanting to be somewhere else.
Yeah, surprisingly, we would like to live in Japan. So
Well, can you not? Because
I know.
I can't really see you there.
I know.
Although I'm going to get treatment for my condition at some point because I'm manifesting it, and then I'm going to be fully non-disabled, and then I'll come hang out with you. So
Yay!
you can do it when Pharmac decides to stop being exclusionary.
So that was me. That's been travel. We'll only be travelling back to, I mean, obviously going to Australia at the end of this year. But other than that, we'll only be going to Japan from now on. Because why would I go anywhere else? Nowhere else is going to be as blind friendly. So
Yeah, you've hit peak, haven't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Shit.
Yeah. But that's okay. I don't need to see anywhere else. Japan's a big place.
It's true.
Lots to see. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it's not like that. And, you know, we went to big cities. You know, as you go up north, it's probably going to change. But that's okay. Because everyone's still... I mean, it's just a polite culture in general. So everyone's just going to be better about my disability anyway. And I've honestly never had worse treatment with my disability than I have in New Zealand. So
Is it nacho time?
I think so.
Are you prepared? Shall I help you?
If you feel like cutting an onion.
Next time on Nevé and Sam Cook. Right, everyone. Well,
That's all.
bye.
Bye.
What does that sound?
I don't know. Say it. Dox him.